Good morning. It is day 135 of Read the Bible in a Year. We're reading 2nd Chronicles chapters 25 and 26. Starting out, chapter 25 in the scriptures on page 900. Or thereabout. Amaziahu was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And the name of his mother was Jehoadan of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, but not with a perfect heart. And it came to be upon his strong control of the reign that he killed his servants who had struck his father, the sovereign. But he did not put their children to death, but did as it was written in the Torah of the book of Moshe, where Yahweh commanded, saying, Fathers are not put to death for their children, and children are not put to death for their fathers, but each one has to die of his own sin. So Amaziahu gathered Judah and set over them commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, according to the fathers' houses, for all Judah and Benjamin. And he registered them from 20 years old and above, and found them to be 300,000 choice men going out to the army, handling spear and shield. And he hired 100,000 mighty brave ones from Israel for 100 talents of silver. But a man of Elohim came to him, saying, O sovereign, do not let the army of Israel go with you, for Yahweh is not with Israel, with all the children of Ephraim. But if you are going to do it, be strong in battle, else Elohim would make you fall before the enemy, for Elohim has power to help and to overthrow. Amaziahu said to the man of Elohim, But what do we do about the 100 talents which I have given to the army of Israel? And the men of Elohim answered, Yahweh has more to give than you. Yahweh has more to give you than this. So Amaziahu dismissed the army that had come from Ephraim to go back home. And they were greatly enraged against Judah, and they returned home in a rage. And Amaziahu strengthened himself and led his people, and went to the valley of the Salt, and struck 10,000 of the sons of Seir. And the sons of Judah took captive another 10,000 alive, and they brought them to the top of the rock, and threw them down from the top of the rock, and all of them were dashed to pieces. And the soldiers of the army, which Amaziahu had sent back from going with him to battle, they raided the cities of Judah from Shomeron to Beth Horon, and struck 3,000 in them, and took much spoil. And it came to be, after Amaziahu came from striking the Edomites, that he brought the mighty ones of the people of Seir, and set them up to be his mighty ones, and bowed down before them, and burned incense to them. Therefore the displeasure of Yahweh burned against Amaziahu, and he had sent a prophet, who said to him, Why have you sought the mighty ones of the people, which did not deliver their own people from your hand? And it came to be, as he talked with him, that the sovereign said to him, Have we appointed you counselor to the sovereign? Stop. Why should they strike you? Then the prophet stopped and said, I know that Elohim has counseled to destroy you, because you have done this, and have not listened to my counsel. And Amaziahu, sovereign of Judah, took counsel and sent to Joash, son of Jehoahaz, son of Jehu, sovereign of Israel, saying, Come, let us look each other in the face. And Joash, sovereign of Israel, sent to Amaziahu, sovereign of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give your daughter to my son as wife. And a wild beast that was in Lebanon passed by and trampled the thistle. You have said, See, I have stricken Edom, and your heart has lifted you up to boast. Now stay at home. Why should you stir up yourself to evil, that you should fall, you and Judah with you? But Amaziah did not listen, for it came from Elohim, in order to give them into the hand of their enemies, because they had sought the mighty ones of Edom. So Joash, sovereign of Israel, went out, and he and Amaziah, sovereign of Judah, faced one another at Beth Shemesh, which belongs to Judah. And Judah was smitten before Israel, and they each fled to his tent. And Joash and the sovereign of Israel caught Amaziah, sovereign of Judah, son of Joash, son of Jehoahaz, at Beth Shemesh, and brought him to Jerusalem, and broke down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim to the corner gate, 400 cubits, and took all the gold and the silver and the utensils that were found in the house of Elohim with Obed-Edom, and the treasures of the sovereign's house, and the hostages, and returned to Shomeron. And Amaziah, son of Joash, sovereign of Judah, lived 15 years after the death of Joash, son of Jehoahaz, sovereign of Israel. And the rest of the acts of Amaziah, from the first to the last, see, are they not written in the book of the sovereigns of Judah and Israel? And from the time that Amaziah turned away from following Yahweh, they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish, and sent after him to Lachish, and killed him there. And they brought him on horses, and buried him with his fathers in the city of Judah. Chapter 26. And all the people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and set him up to reign instead of his father Amaziah. He built Eloth, and restored it to Judah after the sovereign slept with his fathers. Uzziah was 16 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jecholiah of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the eyes of Yahweh, according to all that his father Amaziah did. And he sought Elohim in the days of Zechariah, who had understanding in the visions of Elohim. And while he sought Yahweh, Elohim made him prosper. And he went out and fought against the Philistines, and broke down the wall of Gath, and the wall of Yabneh, and the wall of Ashdod, and built cities around Ashdod and among the Philistines. And Elohim helped him against the Philistines, and against the Arabians who lived in Gur-baal, and the Meunites, and the Ammonites gave gifts to Uzziah. And his name spread as far as the entrance of Mitzrayim, for he strengthened himself greatly. And Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem, at the corner gate, at the valley gate, and at the corner buttress, and strengthened them. And he built towers in the wilderness, and dug many wells, for he had much livestock, both in the low country and in the plain, farmers and vine dressers in the mountains and in Carmel, for he loved the soil. And Uzziah and Uzziah and Uzziah had an army of fighting men who went out to battle by divisions, according to the number on their roll, as prepared by Yael the scribe, and Maaseiah the officer, under the hand of Hananiah, one of the sovereign's commanders. The total number of the clan chiefs of the mighty brave ones was 2,600. And under their hand was an army of 307,500 that fought with mighty power to help the sovereign against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for them, for the entire army, shields and spears and helmets and body armor and bows and sling stones. And he made machines in Jerusalem devised by skilled men to be on the towers and on the corners, to shoot arrows and large stones. And his name spread far and wide, for he was marvelously helped till he became strong. But when he became strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction, for he trespassed against Yahweh his Elohim by entering the temple of Yahweh to burn incense on the slaughter place of the priests. And Azariah the priest went in after him, and with him were 80 priests of Yahweh who were brave men. And they stood up against sovereign Uzziah and said to him, "It is not for you, Uzziah, It is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to Yahweh, but for the priests, the sons of Aaron, who are set apart to burn incense. Get out of the set apart place, for you have trespassed, and there is no esteem to you from Yahweh Elohim." And Uzziah was wroth, and he had a censer in his hand to burn incense, and while he was wroth with the priests, leprosy broke out on his forehead before the priests in the house of Yahweh, beside the incense slaughter place. And Azariah, the chief priest, and all the priests looked at him and saw that he was leprous on his forehead, and they hurried him out from there. And he also hurried out to get out, because Yahweh had struck him. And sovereign Uzziah was a leper until the day of his death, and dwelt in a separate house because he was a leper, for he was cut off from the house of Yahweh. And Jotham his son was over the sovereign's house, ruling the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Uzziah, from the first to the last, the prophet Yeshayahu the son of Amoz wrote. So Uzziah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with the fathers in the field of the burial place, which he belonged to the sovereigns, for they said, "He is a leper." And Jotham his son reigned in his place. Alright. Tomorrow we got 3 chapters, 27, 28, and 29. Pretty simple. Going to be a little bit longer reading, but we're doing good. Shalom.